There is a story from a time not so long ago in 1936. A mother's heart was filled with a winter of despair, for her child was a flickering flame, given up by those who only see the physical vessel. His body was seized by a silent illness, leaving him unable to walk or speak, and a whisper of ancient wisdom reached her: add a particular salt to his bath. Trust this simple element of the earth. Within 3 days, life, full and vibrant, returned. The boy was a current of joy, running through his Virginia home, completely restored. But let us look deeper, beyond the miracle to the source. The wisdom revealed that day teaches us that salt is not merely a substance that heals. It is a key, a direct bridge to the memory of your soul, to the divine blueprint that slumbers within your very cells. What you are about to discover will change, not just your understanding, but your very relationship with this humble crystal in your kitchen. In our time together, I will share the whispers from ancient texts that saw salt as a sacred tool, how your body uses it to maintain a silent connection to the unseen, and the specific practice, born of this wisdom, that awakened the dormant spiritual gifts in thousands of souls. If your heart is ready to unlock a door to a truth hidden for ages, I invite you to walk this path with me, to ensure our paths may cross again, and that this community of seekers may grow. I invite you to let your presence be felt with a simple like, and to subscribe and touch the bell for notifications. In this way, you help other travelers find this light. The year was 1934, a time when a conduit for an ancient consciousness entered a deep state of stillness, a faithful witness set ready to transcribe what would become a revolutionary current of spiritual insight for the modern age. But the truth that flowed through that day about salt was a thunderclap that left even the closest followers in silent awe. The voice that spoke from that stillness explained that salt was not a mineral, not a preservative as our sciences see it. It was the source revealed, a crystallized memory of divine intention, a physical form that holds the vibrational echo of creation itself. And there is more to this river of truth. In that same flow of wisdom, it was revealed that every grain of salt contains what could be called atomic prayers, microscopic patterns that resonate with the same frequency as the human spirit. When salt dissolves in water, especially water blessed by pure intention, it creates a living bridge, a pathway between the physical world and the world of spirit that can be felt, experienced, and known. The soul who had asked for this guidance was suffering from a disorder of her life stream, her blood, which healers called incurable. She was guided to dissolve sea salt in blessed water and to drink it while holding specific affirmations in her heart. In 6 weeks, the river of her life ran clear again. The healers could only call it a miracle, a fire that had rekindled itself. Now let us look at why whispers of salt appear over 35 times in the most sacred ancient texts. The reason is not what scholars of the letter have taught for centuries. In a session of profound revelation that shook the scribe, the source explained that when the great teacher called his followers the salt of the earth, he was not weaving a mere metaphor. He was revealing a sacred practice, an inner alchemy the disciples were meant to understand and embody. Salt, the source explained, was the physical anchor that allowed enlightened souls to hold their vast awareness while walking in a human form. The wisdom flowed deeper, revealing that the crystalline structure of salt is a mirror to the geometric light, patterns found in what my lineage calls the great river of memory, that cosmic library of all souls' journeys. When you consume salt with intention, with awareness, you are literally taking in crystallized wisdom. You are helping your soul remember its sacred purpose, its true mission for this lifetime. This shifts our entire understanding of consciousness, of prayer, of healing. In the archives that preserve this lineage, there are countless records. A man from Kentucky followed a specific salt meditation. Within 3 months, he reported vivid, clear memories of 17 previous journeys of his soul, complete with names, places, and life lessons that transformed his understanding of his present relationships and path. Now, we walk deeper into the mystery. Let us speak of a truth so profound it once silenced those who first heard it. Our ancient wisdom teaches that your body is a temple with sacred centers where the spirit of salt gathers to keep the lines of communication open to the soul. These are not mere physical mechanics. They are antennae for divine guidance. Consider your tears. They are the heart's most sacred water, and in their saltiness lies a potent key to release. This is why true weeping in prayer can feel like a cleansing rain, washing the dust from the soul's mirror. The brain itself rests in a hallowed fluid, a perfect sea of salt and water enabling what my lineage calls the dialogue between soul and mind. When this inner ocean is disturbed by what we consume or how we live, we experience a disconnection, a soul static, that hollow sense of being lost that afflicts so many hearts today. And here is the story that left the keeper of these records speechless. A woman brought her husband to Virginia Beach in 1938. For 8 months, he had been lost in a silent world, what the healers called a vegetative state, following a violent accident. His family journeyed from Oklahoma, their resources exhausted on methods that could not reach him. In their final act of hope, they sought this ancient wisdom. The guidance that came forth was precise: prepare baths using sea salt from a specific place on the earth, blessed with certain prayers, given at times aligned with the moon's own cycle. The voice explained that the man's soul had become unanchored from his body. The salt would be a spiritual magnet, a gentle hand to draw his consciousness back into its home. The family, though full of doubt, was empty of all other options. They followed the path exactly. On the 7th day, the man opened his eyes. He spoke his first words in 8 long months. Within 3 weeks, he was walking, his mind returning like the tide. The doctors had no words for the healing they saw. And there is something even more profound in this, a secret that connects to your own body, right now. This great healing was proof that salt is a bridge not just for the body, but between worlds of consciousness. It did not simply mend his brain, it restored his soul's mooring to his physical life. This truth opens a luminous door for any soul walking through the fog of depression, anxiety, or the feeling of being spiritually lost. Your body makes its own salt, through its own mysterious alchemy. But the ancient wisdom teaches that consciously created salt, salt that is part of your prayers, your meditations, your positive intention, carries a different vibration. This is why tears of joy bring a different healing than tears of sorrow. And this is why the salt within you responds to the weather of your spirit. Here is a truth about salt that our modern world is only just beginning to rediscover. In the 1940s, this lineage revealed that salt crystals possess memory. They can hold and transmit vibrational information, just as we now understand that crystals can store our digital data. When you bless salt, when you pray over it, you are programming it with an intention, with a connection to the source that your body can then recognize, absorb, and use. The earth herself offers evidence of salt's sacred role in ancient cultures. From the Dead Sea Scrolls and their hushed references to sacred salt rites, to the salt from the Himalayan peaks that formed eons ago, carrying mineral patterns geologists cannot explain. We see it in the ceremonies of the native peoples of this land, mirroring the very techniques this wisdom described. The signs all point to a single truth: salt is far more than a simple mineral. In one of the most clearly recorded cases, a young woman carried the heavy burden of what we would now call severe PTSD. She had seen a great trauma during the Second World War. The therapies of the mind had failed her, and she stood at the precipice of being lost to a world of institutional care. The guidance from the source prescribed a specific path of salt. She was to dissolve blessed salt in water, to be used for both drinking and in bathing, while holding specific prayers in her heart. The transformation was a sunrise witnessed by many. Within 6 weeks, the storms in her mind ceased. The weight of anxiety lessened its grip. She spoke of feeling spiritually washed clean for the first time since the trauma. She said this simple practice saved her life, and she later walked the path of helping others who had been wounded, using the same gentle way. This reveals something vital about how salt works on the level of the soul. According to this wisdom, trauma creates soul debris, energetic knots that cloud our inner sight and block our connection to the divine. Salt, used with sacred intention, is the pure element that can dissolve these knots and restore the natural light of the soul. And here is how we, in these modern times, can apply this ancient wisdom in a way that will transform your daily spiritual practice. This lineage taught specific ways to charge salt with spiritual intention. It was recommended to hold salt in your hands during prayer or meditation, allowing your own life force, your own energy, to fill the crystals with divine purpose. This charged salt could then be used in your food, in your bath, or even carried with you as a tool for spiritual protection and clarity. The practice is simple, but its power is deep. Take sea salt or Himalayan salt in your palm. Close your eyes. Focus your heart on your deepest spiritual intention. Imagine a divine light flowing through you, through your hands, and into the salt. Feel gratitude for this gift from the earth and ask that it serve your highest good, your soul's unfolding. There is a story of a businessman in New York who found this practice. Every morning in meditation, he charged his salt. He used it in his coffee, in his meals. Within 3 months, he felt a dramatic shift. His intuition in his work became sharp and clear. His prayers grew deeper, and he felt what he called a constant awareness of divine guidance, woven through his days. But wait, for there is an even more potent practice that was revealed for touching the memory of past lives and soul purpose through the way of salt. In the late 19th, the source described what it called salt scrying, a method for receiving divine guidance and memories from the soul's vast journey using salt and water. The practice is to dissolve blessed salt in pure spring water while holding a clear question in your heart about your soul's mission or seeking guidance on a life path. As the salt dissolves, you enter a quiet, meditative state, and you simply observe the patterns, the images, the feelings that arise from the water. The teaching says that the dissolving salt creates a vibrational opening, a bridge to the great river of memory, allowing a soul to access its own cosmic story, its divine purpose. A teacher from California kept a journal of her experiences with this for 6 months. She wrote of receiving clear guidance on her career, her relationships, and on spiritual practices that led her to what she called living my authentic soul mission for the first time. Her journals, held in the archives, detail specific insights and gentle predictions that later bloomed into truth. This connects to a profound understanding of salt's role in ancient prophecies and spiritual awakening that few have heard. This lineage revealed that when sacred texts spoke of salt, it was not mere symbolism. It was an instruction manual for a sacred technology. When Lot's wife was turned to salt, the teaching explained this was not a punishment, but a transformation. Her consciousness had become so attached to a lower vibration, so fixated on what was being destroyed, that she crystallized into the very element that preserves and purifies. The pillar of salt became a symbol of the choice every soul must face: remain attached to what is passing away, or become a purifying agent for a higher will. This view reframes these ancient stories. They are not fables, but roadmaps for spiritual evolution. Here is what this means for your own journey, your own awakening. Your relationship with salt mirrors your relationship with spiritual purification and divine will. When you consume it with awareness, blessing it, seeing its sacred nature, you are joining an ancient practice. You are connecting yourself to the consciousness of the cosmos and quickening your own spiritual growth. The teachings tell us that different salts carry different energies. Sea salt connects you to emotional healing, the ebb and flow of your inner ocean, and psychic sensitivity. Himalayan salt grounds you in the wisdom of the earth and physical vitality. Rock salt from deep, ancient deposits carries what was called time wisdom and access to the knowledge from elder ages of spirit, when humanity's connection to the divine was more open and conscious. A nurse in Virginia Beach began to weave these teachings into her daily meditation and her work with patients. She noted that patients seemed to respond with more peace when she silently blessed the salt used in their healing, and her own spiritual sensitivity bloomed, growing ever more lucid over 18 months of this simple, consistent practice. But here is the most astounding revelation about salt, one that will change how you see your body's divine architecture. In readings from 1944, the source explained that the balance of salt in your body directly influences your ability to receive divine guidance and to hold the light of your soul while here on earth. When you are properly mineralized with this consciously blessed element, your very cellular structure becomes a more sensitive receiver for what the source called divine downloads, direct transmissions of wisdom, healing, and purpose from higher realms of being. This is why the teachings so often recommended specific salt protocols for those seeking to unfold their psychic gifts or deepen their communion in prayer. The salt literally tunes the physical instrument to receive and transmit spiritual frequencies with greater clarity. Our own modern science, with its study of salt's role in neural pathways, is now echoing these mystical insights. Your nervous system needs a precise salt ratio to function. Your brain's very ability to process thought depends on this mineral balance. Science is now discovering the how, which aligns perfectly with the why that this ancient wisdom revealed decades ago. A meditation teacher in Colorado shared these salt practices with her students and witnessed remarkable changes. Students spoke of deeper states of stillness, clearer guidance from within, and a quickening of their spiritual insights. Several experienced what they could only describe as spiritual initiations during salt-assisted meditations, which completely transformed their understanding of their life's purpose. This brings us to the path itself, the practical steps that can begin to transform your spiritual life today. Begin each morning by blessing your salt, whether it is for your food, your bath, or a small amount you carry as a spiritual anchor. Ask that it serve your highest good and your soul's journey. Throughout the day, remain aware of salt not as a mere flavor, but as a sacred substance, connecting you to the consciousness of the universe. Create a weekly ritual of a salt bath, using sea salt or Himalayan salt dissolved in warm water, while you hold a prayer or a spiritual intention in your heart. This practice, the teachings say, cleanses not only physical toxins, but also the spiritual debris of a life lived in a busy world, creating a clear space for divine guidance and the soul's voice to be heard. When you face an important crossroads or seek deep insight, try the practice of salt scrying. Dissolve blessed salt in pure spring water while you focus on your question. Then, simply meditate and observe the impressions, images, or insights that arise as the salt disappears into the water. The living records from thousands who received this guidance demonstrate that salt is far more than a mineral. It is a spiritual tool that can quicken your awakening, deepen your divine connection, and support your soul's true mission in this life. But here is what is essential to understand as you bring these practices into your modern world. Consistency is a more gentle guide than perfection. Begin with a simple daily blessing of salt. Gradually, as it feels natural and true to your own path, you can invite the more advanced practices into your life. The wisdom always emphasized that a spiritual practice must align with the soul's own readiness, its own authentic call, not be forced or performed as a cold, mechanical act. Keep a journal of your experiences. This allows you to see the patterns, the insights, the subtle transformations that occur as you grow your relationship with salt as a sacred ally. Many of the most profound healing stories began with these simple, daily acts, which over time bloomed into life-changing spiritual openings. Connect with other souls who are exploring these ways. The community that preserves these teachings continues to explore and apply them, offering support and a shared understanding for those walking this path in our modern times. Remember, these are not new inventions. They are ancient streams of wisdom that a unique soul was able to access for the benefit of all. The practices have been walked, tested, and validated by thousands of documented lives, spanning decades of careful witness and recording. Your willingness to explore salt as a sacred tool connects you to a lineage of souls who have used these ways for awakening, for healing, and for serving the divine light throughout human history. You are not just learning a technique. You are taking part in humanity's spiritual unfolding. You are remembering the divine nature of your own soul. The salt in your tears, in your blood, in your very cells, carries the memory of your soul's journey through countless lifetimes and dimensions of being. By working consciously with this element, you are accessing this cosmic memory. You are allowing it to guide your present life toward its highest expression. As you begin this practice, remain open. Be open to the profound shifts that may begin to unfold. The readings from this source consistently reveal that spiritual growth quickens when a soul aligns with these natural, sacred technologies like the way of salt. The recorded healings and awakenings stand as luminous examples of what is truly possible. Your spiritual path is your own, unique and sacred, yet the principles this wisdom revealed about the nature of salt apply universally to all souls who seek a deeper connection, a more authentic expression of their spirit. If this sharing has opened a new door in your heart, I invite you to subscribe and touch the notification bell so you do not miss future streams from this extraordinary legacy of wisdom. I invite you to share this with other souls you feel are ready to explore the deeper mysteries of awakening. The universe has given us simple, profound tools like salt to support our journey home. Your readiness to see and work with these gifts is a sign of your soul's desire for the next level of consciousness and divine service that is waiting for you to discover.